Hey, how are you? It's Alan here from Looking for Warriors, and I want to talk about classical agile learning. That's what I talk about every day now. It's not what I talk about every day, but it's what I mean to talk about every day. Now, the idea behind classical agile learning is that you teach your child, so the dad teaches the child. And I think probably what would be a good thing to talk about today would be the problems with the current education system. Let's talk about that first, the problems with the current education system. Now, I wonder if you could think back to your own times at school. Maybe it was a great time. Maybe that was the best time of your life, times at school. I'm driving along the road now and I'm glancing at the camera every now and again. I'd like to look towards your eyes, obviously, but I need to look towards the road from time to time. And I'm looking on the right hand side now and I can see there's like a fire. It's a huge fire in what looks like a Greyhound Stadium or horse racing stadium or something. It's a huge fire. There's like a bushfire. I'm sure someone else will call about it, won't they? Someone else call the fire brigade or something. I don't know. Anyway, classical agile learning. It's a pretty big fire. Like there must be like 10,000 people have driven by it this morning. I'm sure someone will call. I'm sure it's going to be looked after. Now, classical agile learning. Problems with the current education system. Now, think back to your own time in the education system. I'm thinking back to mine right now. And mine wasn't a very nice period of my life. I didn't enjoy it. You're placed in I'm not going to call it a prison cell, but you can't leave. You can't leave. You can't. Even a parent has difficulty coming and taking you before the designated time. You can't not go. It's a bad thing if you don't go. And you can't choose. You can't choose what you do during the day. You can't choose what you are to learn. There's no choice. That's why I love and it's not perfect at all, but I love the Montessori system because she was, I want to say, a bit of a genius. I don't know enough about her to say she was a genius, but she was certainly fairly copped on about kids, certainly, and she built choice into her system, and that just building choice in turns it 180 degrees around from an authoritarian, can't even say the word, in an authoritarian system to a system where use as choice. So that's why I really like the Montessori system, but we've got to take that to the next level, and the next level is ultimate choice, and that's what the agile part of classical agile learning is. Agile is about choice. Agile is about giving options and letting the kid choose what they want to do. But I'm not going to get into what agile is right now. A lot of people watch this probably know what agile methodology is and agile programming or agile software development. They'll know what that is. But what I want to talk about now, just stay on topic, is the flaws in the current education system. So there's no choice. You don't get to choose what you do. And the other big issue with it, just broad strokes here, the other really big issue with it is that there's tests. There's no need for tests. No one ever needs to be tested. There should be 0 tests. And you are given a curriculum. Now the curriculum will be put together by a faceless bureaucrat you don't know, doesn't know you, more importantly, and will never know you. So you have to take what this faceless bureaucrat has written down. You have to learn it by heart and do what I would call educational bulimia, where you take it all down and then you throw it all back up on a test again. And well done, now you're educated because you're able to throw up all this information that we've given you as facts. Some of them are facts. 2 plus 2 is a fact. 2 plus 2 equals 4. That's a fact. But a lot of it is theory and conjecture that is presented as facts to small kids who do, and it stops kids thinking. The problem with giving kids facts is it stops them thinking, because we know everything already, don't we? We know everything, so we don't need you guys to think. We've worked it all out, so you just remember it, because we've worked everything already. So it stops kids thinking, and that's great for governments. Governments want kids who can't think, and the powers that be, big corporations want kids who can't think, but parents should not. And some parents do want kids who can't think and won't question. Some parents do want that, but a cop-down parent should not want a kid who cannot think and cannot question. That's very, very bad. You need intelligent kids who can ask questions, who can think, and who can work out whether someone's lying to them or whether something makes sense or not. And the whole, let's take global warming, for example. Global warming comes down on two areas here. You're either a global warming denier, it's like you've denied the Holocaust or whatever, global warming denier, and you're like an evil person, or you're a global warming believer, and there's no grey area. There's no, well, I don't know, but I want to use some of my own intelligence. I want to work out, take a look at some of the facts, and I want to work out if this is real or not. And if it is real, how important is it? Like, for example, if let's say there is anthropogenic global warming, and because what's worked into all of the climate models is a multiplier effect. So what they're saying is, well, if it goes up 2 degrees, there'll be a multiplier then that'll make it'll go more and more and more. And obviously, if you've ever done with a calculator, 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2, it starts going up very, very quickly then once you put the multiplier effect in. And the multiplier effect, if you go through it, the multiplier effect is basically bullshit. It's just, we'll multiply this to make it look a lot worse than it is. In fact, and what they're saying is the more CO2 in the atmosphere, the more it's gonna double and double or whatever. There's gonna be a multiplier effect in there. But you'll find with open systems like the Earth that there is apart from having a multiplier effect, it's actually an exact opposite. It has self-regulation. So if there's more CO2 in the atmosphere, there's more plant food, more plants grow, and trees find it much easier to grow and put oxygen out, and it's actually self-correcting. And what I'm saying is, you've got to have kids who can look at that and work out. I've just put a proposition forward that the Earth is self-correcting, and climate change isn't going to be a big issue. And I want a kid who can look at that and say, and work out, right, that's interesting, but let's run that through my own meat grinder, and let's see if I can work out what I think about that. Is that true? Is that not? Can they put up another argument to me to say that I'm wrong? And so you got to get your ego out of that. You got to be allow yourself to be wrong sometimes. And they're the kind of kids you want to build. You want to build kids who can question, who can reason, and understand, logical fallacies and how to argue, and things like the non-aggression principle, and things like how things work. It's like why numbers are in nature, and all that kind of stuff, and their own history. So we're living in a time now where, let's say, African Americans, Irish Americans, it's kind of a melting pot, because you live in a place which may not, your long history may not be in the place that you live right now, but it's still useful to know who you are. I want my kids to know who they are. They're Irish, and I want them to know who Irish people were 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. And I think you should find out about yourself. It's about know thyself. It's about understanding. And I know thyself is not know your history as such, but it certainly doesn't feed into it. I think you should know your history and why that's important. But so the overall thing I want to say here is that the current education system does not teach kids to think. It teaches kids to take information from authority and not question it. And that's the big problem. And classical agile learning is that upside down. In fact, now the education system is learning upside down. So we just want to turn it back to the way it's supposed to be. That we're teaching kids to think and question and be able to think by themselves and question us. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about everything I say. Maybe I'm wrong about classical agile learning. Maybe that's not the right thing. Maybe, do you know what the best thing would be to cover? Maybe I'm completely wrong, and then some kid who I teach comes up with an even better system. Wouldn't that be great? So it's about allowing your kids to question you. So this has been Alan here from Looking for Warriors, and I was just talking about classical agile learning and the problems with the current education system.